Hello, and a very warm, in both uses and meanings of the word, welcome to Sunday's Factorio stream. It is redonkulously hot in the UK today, 30 degrees, which is, I'm sure, not hot for many parts of the world, but for the UK, it's that's pretty record. Well, I believe somewhere in Wales, I can't remember where it was, they broke their temperature record. It is very hot. I'm just checking, making absolutely sure that all of the levels are there. The stream doesn't seem to have any. That might just because it's quiet. Yeah, that's okay. And we got bit rates and we got everything going. This is I'm getting this speckly effect because of the green screen. I've got a fan under the desk going full blast today. My air conditioner's going in the other room as well. I say it's ridiculously hot today, so I may well not last the 3 hours that I usually do. You'll have to forgive me for that, because yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because obviously it was so warm. But these are the troubles of global warming, I guess. Right. So at the end of yesterday, I'd sort of hooked everything up, but then discovered that I have uh, um, aligned, as it were, misplaced these, because what we've got going on basically is we've got red um, circuits coming up here. Where's that? At the bottom. There we go. Up here, rather than up here, because what I've done, I flipped the red circuit build over, but I hadn't flipped the blue circuit build over when I put that in. So this is exactly the same as this, but it needs to be the other way around, basically. Now, a relatively simple solution to that, I hope, will be to essentially delete these bits. Because the top end is fine, because that's going all the way through. The bottom end is fine, because that's going all the way through. So what I really need to do is basically take these out, and these out, and sort of flip them around, and then stamp that down everywhere. So I'm just going to do that kind of manually, rather than trying to be too clever, because if I'm too clever, there's a very good chance that I'll mess it up. So what I will do, I will cut and paste this. So I'll cut that, and then I'll cut. Let's cut that bit, because that's the key bit. And then basically I need to not rotate it, flip it. But which flip? It's that flip, isn't it? So that flip there, that's how it needs to be. This needs reversing, basically, in terms of its orientation. That might be a little tricky because of the belt lengths, but we will see. In fact, that could be quite a bit of a problem, actually. What we can do as well is just plot this in, so I know where that is. Did I rotate? I think did I rotate that? Which is not what I should have done. Because like that, and it's a flip. Like that. I think I could move it down, which might help with the whole sulfur thing. But we'll put it in where it is. Because I might be able to sort of use that space. So if we... Have I got my audio? Hang on a sec. I'm just wondering if... Yeah, it's on my headset. It's very quiet, and I don't know why. Right, so if I was to move that, you see... Oh, I've run out of room for rubbish. Let's just put these in here. There's no bots around, so that's all fine. So if we do that, the problem is that this... Oh, it will... Why is it going that direction? Oh, because it is coming in that way. It'll reach to there, but not there. That's a problem. Because we want that there, but we want that there. Well, it's not a problem actually, no, because obviously this is going to change as well. So actually it's fine, isn't it? So this is the new setup, isn't it? Oh no, it isn't. We want that there. Oh, well, actually I could put that there to make it a bit more symmetrical. I might just chuck the sulfur and... oh, I've got plastic. We can put them in there. Right, so this is the new setup, isn't it? So we've got engines along the bottom, we've got sulfur along the top, and we've got red circuits coming up the left-hand side. Okay, so what I need to do then is basically go around and remove the top parts, but not the bottom part. I also need to, if I just dash over, because I'm soon going to fill my inventory if I do that. So I'll just stick a couple of chests up here. In fact, actually, no, it'd be better to break the link first. I was going to say, because I could put some, chests, feeding on that material. Right, so if we get rid of, say, because I don't mind ghosting it in, I'm going to need to keep my bots. So if I just empty my personal inventory, apart from bots, I can use this as well. Pick everything up. So we can edit this. We don't want... Well, there are no steel chests, so that's fine. Okay. And is that blacklist or whitelist? Because basically I can go like that and pick all of the top bits up. Like that. For each one. So it's soon going to fill my inventory. So we get rid of that. And that. And that. And that. There's quite a few of these, aren't there? There's about 12. Basically trying to avoid the bit at the bottom each time, because that's fine. There you go, we're already full, you see. So we'll get rid of this one, because that first one is fine. And then we do a copy and paste, like, well, let's copy in the beacon so I can position it correctly. But we'll go up and look at all that sulfur. We'll go and chuck these in this chest. In fact, we need another one. Crikey. Oops. So put them in there. Them in there. Right, so if I grab... Well, I guess the belts are not necessary because we've already got them in a sense, but... Okay. So, if we paste... Because what I'm thinking, I'll go up the line and make sure it works. So that's red circuits coming through. It's got sulfur. It's outputting blue science. Yeah, brilliant. So if we do all of these, very carefully, like this. Okay, and now if I just clear this out. Oh no, this needs moving over, doesn't it? Because that's just... So actually if I basically get rid of them and move them all over. So they need to be here. Now can I get rid of some extra stuff? There we go. Right, why have you not started? Oh, have I not got any splitters on me? Oops. Have I run out of splitters? Oh, there we go. There's some there. Right, so that's all blue science. Now, if we copy and paste all of this, I said I wasn't going to be clever, but when have I ever been true to my word, eh? So if I say copy and paste all that, I should be able to paste it over the top of all of these. Like so. We'll have to dash around and make sure we've got everything covered. Placed in. You gonna make blue science for me? All of you chappies? Right, so that's everything there. Now, I've obviously got an inventory, well, more than an inventory's worth of rubbish that I need to get rid of now. If I put them in there, we can kind of go and... Oh, it's perfect. I only go and feed them back in to the system, basically. So I have got a couple of bits of sulfur there. I don't mind having them. Cool. So what we can do, I mean, did I have a... Oh, I did put a train here. Okay. I mean, we can obviously chuck these in here just randomly. And then I just run up and down the lines, sticking the red circuits and stuff in to the best that we can. Just avoid having to, you know, do anything more complicated with it. Nice one. And then the sulfur as well. Okay, got a lot of sulfur. So let's chuck these in here. Cool. Right, let's go and pick up these chests again. Oh, hello, the Dream Engineer. Hello, Vanillo Factorio Connoisseur. And hello to you. So I take it you don't. Oh, crikey! What are you trying to do? You don't tend to use mods or anything at all, or you just have a preference for vanilla? Oh, you've got rubbish as well. Right. I think everyone's just their default stuff. Okay, so I need to get these into the train. Can I line this splitter up? Not splitter, balancer up. Might be able to do it there. Let's give that a go. Right. I don't know why the volume is so quiet. I don't know if that, and I don't know if that's just me. Whoops. So if I bring the settings up, it could, in fact, what have I done something dumb with my? Because this has got a different. No, the volume's where it normally is. I'm going to put this up a bit because for me it's very quiet. People can moan if it's too loud. That's a bit better. Right, so let's just feed all of these in. Am I sensible doing that? Probably better if I do this side of it first. So what I'm thinking is I can basically, if that's long enough, yeah, go up there, around there, oops, around there like, no, missed, around like that. and just sort of connect these up like this. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we've got, is it there? Yeah, that's perfect. So this gives me all 8 slots of input. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not right then, is it? So sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the temperature. Must be. Right. Up here, and here, like this. Over here, over there, down there. That one and that one. Cool. So we'll, not sure what's happened there. In fact, I might as well just like that. And connect that up, and then take this down. Oops, down here. Meant to have been writing a CV today. I mean, I have been. It's for a pie in the sky thing. Job wise, it's not. I can't see me ever getting it. But you know, if you don't try, you don't know, do you? Is kind of what I'm figuring. But oh, I haven't got any rocket fuel, have I? Okay. Let us set your condition up. Load, unload, full. Whoops, empty. I'll plop it on auto, but obviously it won't go anywhere because it's not got any fuel. So I'll just nip down. In fact, did I ever put any fuel in you? Oh, you've got. They're a bit keen, the old spiders, picking stuff up. No, I never put any fuel in you, did I? Right, so we'll nip down and grab a little bit of fuel. And we'll, make sure it goes back and forth to the drop-off point. I'm not intending to put all the trains in that I need until I've got a lot more outposts. That's kind of what we'll probably try and do today is fix the outposts, maybe fix those designs so that they're a bit more. Well, I probably need to split them into 2 designs, but I've still got the old. Why am I going all the way down here? There's a train at the bottom. Let's grab some fuel out of you. Fuel on 2. Cool. I guess it empties it like a siphon in a sense, where because you'd think it would empty fairly evenly, but such is the mysteries of the fluid dynamics in Factorio. So we'll head up. So put this in, and then if it goes back and forth, I'm going to take that as done. I should really just check that all of the machines are running. I don't think there should be any problems on that front because most of the stuff, most of it's overproduction. That's kind of how I've built it. So, it's really a case of if the engines are getting all the way down, we don't actually need this many machines making engines, but it like rounds up like this. So it's like, so that one's not running very often, you see, because it's not, what you can see, this is backing up here. So it obviously outputs all of them and then it's stuck, can't output anymore. And that's kind of how I've built this one, because it tends to round up better than it rounds down, if you see what I mean. This would be the tricky one, the green circuits, in that, as you can see, they're sort of only just getting enough, but getting enough, only just getting enough, but getting enough. So we do just need to make sure. Why are you not running at all? Because the red circuits is backed up. Is that backed up for any reason other than just... Because these are the ones with all the ones I hand fed in, so they'll eat through all of them first. But yeah, all of those machines are working, so I will call that functional. So if we put this fuel in, it should shoot off. No? Are you not full? Oh, you're not quite full, are you? That's full. That's not far off. Cool. Cool. Dooby-dooby-doo. There is fuel on the other end, isn't it? I think. Yeah, so it's all fuel. So it'll get fueled up over there. Nearly there. What I've been doing is I've let it do a few natural journeys, but once the chests are filled up and the lines are backed up, I've then been sort of manually sending it back and forth a few times just to make sure that kind of everything's even. Because oh, I see. Because it's waiting for the other train. Because obviously when I'm setting it up, these aren't necessarily evenly pushing stuff out, so some of the carriages don't fill like empty properly, and I don't want a situation where where the I don't want the train sat there with one carriage half empty, because that will impact the full flow rate. Because what I'm anticipating doing is like splitting these basically as they come out. So I might put a balance there, but I might well just, for example, this might be split into 2 lanes, and this into 2, and this into 2. Because we've obviously got to feed it into a lot of assemblers, and I don't think I've got any balance. How many have I actually got in a row there? So in theory, it's 20. I say, and I haven't got a 20 balancer. I mean, who has? I've also got the 10 balancer, so what I can do is I can feed in half of it to one 10 and half of it to the other 10. Or, because these are only half lanes, I could do some arrangement that accounts for that. Are we back at base yet? Not quite. Because these are all, because obviously this is, red and green and blue and blue and black and whatever, however I do it in the end. So I could try and just split the lanes, so we can have this be, I say, the 2 lanes, balance them and then split them basically. But that's a ways down the way. Look, it looks like we're here. So let's plop that on. Right, so we'll let everyone get stocked up. But yeah, I will call that done. As it's not done, but it's set up, ready for me to eventually feed it with all the material. So in theory, the next one would be either gold or purple, but it's too hot to do that today. So also, I mean, I haven't done my designs. What I am going to do, though, is a lot of odd jobs, I think. So I did identify the other day. I even put them in an order, which is way more organised than I normally am. Oh, here we go. So, we've done that one, obviously. So call that done. In fact, I'll put a tag on like that, so I know it's done. Where's number 2 then? Oh, here we go. Oh, yes, we need to tweak the coal loading. And in fact, I might use this as the opportunity to fix all of the loading, because, as I say, my grand idea, super clever idea, of loading both types of train is just not. I've we've gone past the point where that's even relevant. So, so I could fix all of the outpost designs. Okay, let's see if we've filled up yet. Yeah, we're all done. Have you got trains? You've got trains. Have you got? Yeah, you've got all the stuff. Okay, so let's head over to the coal outpost and we'll have a look at what I've done with the design. We're starting to get to a stage where the distances are a bit ridiculous. So it's going to take a while to get over there. I could obviously, in theory, use my personal train, but the personal train, although it'd be quicker, you know, for that distance, it has to drive all the way around the loop. I was thinking about that the other day, that I could maybe make this a two-way system, but I'm not a massive fan of that at all because we could get some real weird behaviour from the trains. I mean, we get weird behaviour already, but we don't want to encourage them. I could get rid of this as well, actually, because that's all finished. So I could remove that at some point. Wasn't there another one I spotted that was done? That's only got a bit left. Oh, it's this one here. So we can get rid of that one. I need to transition them over. We don't appear to be going very fast. Have I not put... No, we've got legs on. Yeah, I need to transition them over before these run out. Really. Because if they all run out, I'll not have any belts and splitters and balancers and stuff. So I need to do that beforehand. But that's going to be a bit of a tedious job, really. So probably do it off stream. But I could set up the copy the blueprints over and sort of cut off the supply, maybe. But yeah, anyway, the plan basically is I'll fix the blueprints, in particular the coal, because that's slightly more complicated than the others because of the whole weird refueling situation I managed to create. So I'll fix that one. The next one then, as I say, is number 3, which is where? Where's number 3? No, that's the other outposts. Where's number 3? Oh, here we go. So yeah, so I was then going to set up these because I've obviously still got, as I say, I've still got the old. No, that's the new stuff. Still got the old train loading stations. Glad I kept them now because I was thinking about deleting them. So we can use these instead, and basically set these up so that there's the new material for the bus to feed on. And I've identified. Well, I was quite lucky actually. I managed to end up with. We've got an oil back. This is quite big as well. Oil, iron, copper, and coal. The copper I don't necessarily need because there's a better patch there. So I'll probably actually grab that. But basically we can plop down the old. We'll plop down the new blueprint. In fact, I might just plop down the artillery blueprint and clear it that way, and then pick it all up again. But yeah, so that'll clear out. I did a lot of manual clearance as well, so it shouldn't take too long. And then we can set these up. So we want the iron, copper, oil, and coal. And then, I could also grab that oil, but I don't need that much oil. But then we can turn that one into steel with the smelters. And then, we've got spare coal, and we can grab that copper. I only need the raw stuff. And I should really add on the uranium. How big? Oh, it's only 3 million. That. So that there's still uranium feeding into this system. That's what I could do while we're travelling over. I could send the spiders over, do a bit of building, like so. Yeah, so What's number 4 then? Why have I got 3 and 5 but no 4? Oh, so these are me. This is where we're going to have the big outposts for the main science area. So this will be off stream, I suspect, because it'll be tedious clearance. Unless I just haven't done the numbering properly. Because that's 2. Yeah, looks like I've not done the numbering properly. I guess we could come and remove those 2 at some point as well, but yeah, then I can lay those blueprints down, and, cut off the supply and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure that's more than enough for today. I say I may not actually make it to 3 hours because it's so hot. Nearly there. I can't. Obviously, I can't. Oh no, I have got everyone. I can put more legs in, but I'd have to put it in all of them, or they're just left behind, and they get stuck because they do a pathfinding that's just literally move straight towards the thing. They get stuck very easily. Right. So this is obviously the loading station. And thinking about it, I don't really then need 10, do I? This doesn't need to be a 10 balancer if I'm doing only 8. But the basic point is, particularly with this station, I don't need you see the green, those basically. I don't need them. Let's chuck them in a chest over here. And what I can also do, because I think I made a separate blueprint. In fact, let's put them in you. Oops. Oh, no, well, just make a bit of room, really. I made a separate thing where it had I completely lost my train of thought there. It had something, and that was a good thing. Whoa. I'll just take the inserters out for the time being. See, we're full of coal. Because what I need to do, basically, a more sensible way of sort of fixing this, oops, is basically cutting off the supply here. Obviously, these 2 won't empty, but what we can do is feed it back again effectively, so I can, yeah, piddly bob, do this, oops, and then basically have these guys feed coal into the other chests, ideally. Oh, I actually need to reverse all of this. Oh, yeah, I'm full. Yeah. Let's just get rid of some of this stuff. Oh, I've got the trains, haven't I? I don't need them anymore. Oops. Yeah, so chuck them out of the way. In fact, don't really need it much of any of that, really. Okay, so I say what I can ideally do is basically sort of flip this all around like this, and then like that. In fact, I do need a few belts because it's not going to match up numbers wise, is it? And then feed that all back out there. That all back out there. No, I actually do need that, don't I? Because that's the one that needs to stay. Yeah, okay. Pick all of these up. So you're full, are you? So chuck some stuff down that way. Ideally, as I say, I want more trains coming and picking up, so there's more chests in the rooms. Chest in the rooms? More room in the chests. So can I get any of these to come and fill up? I mean, I could always add that train in, since I've got it. And we could add it to the schedule. Gonna need a lot more trains, so it's not a problem as such. We need to get rid of these, though. Get rid of them. Do all of this. Flip this round. Crikey. Oops! That I didn't mean to do. Did I pick... I did. Picked up some bots by accident. Trying to... Oh, it's because you... I thought that was on the ground. It's actually being held by the inserter. So flip you around. Like so. Make sure those trains aren't arriving and don't squish me. Don't like being squished. It's bad for my health. Doopy-doopy-doo. Right, so turn that all around. And that wants to be that direction. Like that. Here's a new train. Oh, it's obviously full, so it's heading straight out again. That's a bit annoying. But there we go. Is another one coming? No. Okay, let's nip across then. Oh, artillery's arrived. Hello, artillery. Right, are you going to pick up some coal? Yes. Awesome. All done. Now, what I can also add on, obviously, is we can have extra stuff here. Because we now don't need the, the refueling thing that was there. I've not missed it. So I got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's all fine. These are the wrong way around. No, they're not. I was looking at the wrong one. So that's all full. If I flip that back to that, it's going to be a bit tedious, this, but yeah, whatever. So it's too hot to think today, so I'm not going to do any thinking. How much is actually in these? Oh, loads. Loads and loads and loads. Okay, so in that case, I think I might just put a little break in there. I'll do that. Now, can I feed this round, or these two round, in such a way that they'll load into more chests? Like this. Like that. And then we'll sort of break that temporarily. And then we want that one and that one. In fact, actually, let's just do that. Like that. Okay, so that's feeding in. So I need to break all of these, actually. Okay, and then we'll plop these back in. Okay. So that should then feed into more chests that are hopefully got a bit more room. Let's put all of this back in the system. I think I am going to put an extra train in. Because then we've definitely got room to fit it all in. Yeah, let's put an extra train on. Which would be these. We'll send it to grey, because that was the one that was the sort of biggest. 6, 7, 8. Seemed to be the biggest draw. So I can do that. Filter all of that. Oh, why have we ended up with a belt there? And that is okay, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Right, so let's find the grey train, grey coal train. Oh, copy, paste. Yep, plot that to automatic. Off she goes. How are we doing? So at least one chest is empty. Obviously, this is now disconnecting our logistic stuff. We've got another one empty there. Okay. I could do another train. In fact, I'm probably going to have to do that, aren't I? Oh, there's absolutely loads of stuff in them. That's annoying. Okay, how about... I think we'll have to leave that to chug through, I think. The other option I've got, I guess, is I could... where are the... Right, so I did come up with... What's that? That's the... Oh, that's the unload. So not quite in the right place. I did come up with some other stations. I don't know if I did coal, though. So that's the oil one. There we go. So we got two loading, basically, on the alternate thing. So we can put this in. I have to move this. Like that. And I'll have to grab my other stuff, because it's... like that. So I need to make it. So we can actually put another one of these on. Now, did I do a special thing that was just the loading? There we go. Yeah, so that's just the loading, you see. Where is it? There we go. Why is that not lining up? Because that's that. Oh, I never... Okay. Because actually that needs to be vertically flipped, doesn't it? But I can't because it's got rail signals on it. So if I tweak that blueprint... Ah! The train has arrived, so... Is that going to solve our problem? Could solve some of our problem. But yeah, basically this needs to be flipped. Like vertically. Oh, don't want to go out there. Right. Oh! Look, there's a random chest of wood there. That's obviously from where I was, when I was doing the business. Actually setting this up. Right, so that's the blueprint for that. But so I need to take the signals out. I don't know if it lets you flip. It mustn't let you flip with train stops. Why are you... Okay. Why has that got... Are they connected to the robot network? Oh, it's just connected at the edge. Whoops. Oops. Yeah, so I need to take these signals out, you see. Because then it should let me flip this blueprint, basically. Because that's what I need to do, essentially. It's going to be another, I guess, rail and station. Oh, I shouldn't have. No. If we flip it, no. Blueprint with train. Oh, it's got the train station on it. Okay. So it doesn't let you flip it. Okay. So if we edit that, like that. Okay, save that. And then we flip it now. Yes. Okay. So plop that down. I'll move out of the way so I'm not connecting the robo networks again either. We'll take this one out by hand in case we get any weirdness with the bots trying to pick it all up. And then I'll just manually pick all of this up. Got everything? Got everything. Cool. So, I want them on the other side, really, don't I, to match that. Oh, no, that's fine. They're on the right side. So, in fact, let's just... If we plop this in, does this fit? Does this work as a blueprint? So if we save that, you know, for the top end, basically. So the idea would be... where are the... I guess if I line it up with... I think I've got a mess of... I might got the wrong one. Wait. Did I not flip that? No. What? That's not flipped. No, it is. What? Hey? The blueprint here shows it as different to what it actually is. When I hover over it, it's a different blueprint. Let's do it again. So save that. What? I'm losing the plot there. So if I select new contents, you see this has got the splitters on the top. Okay, select new contents just to make sure. Splitters on the top, right? Save blueprint, and then when I try and plop it down, the splitters are on the bottom. When I can do that, flip it over, which then matches. But why is it not like that in the blueprint? Because if I hover over there, I don't know if you can see that in the small scale, but the splitters are on the top. And the logic bit is on the top. You know, this bit here. But then when I try and place it down... Oh, now they're on the top. Okay. The heat's clearly getting to me. I don't know if that was okay to start with, but... Okay. Right, so what I'm trying to do then is match that up so that it fits okay. The difficulty is that robo port. That's the only bit that doesn't match, I think. Also, I've ended up with a mess of... whatchamacallits? Substations. So that's okay, apart from having that robo port. Now, is that robo port? Was I accidentally picking that blueprint? I might have been. Right, that robo port, is it in this? No. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is wrong anyway. So we don't want this stuff here anyway. Okay, so that's Oh, did I do? No, there we go. Don't want this stuff. Right, so that needs to go. I then need to hook up these with green wire to the actual. Let's do it. Can I reach there? That's too far, isn't it? That's fine then. Okay. And then it hooks on to that one. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we've now got the 4 loading things. So these are the right robo ports. This is the other side. But that's got a station on it, so it's not it's not clipping properly. But those are the actual substations I want. Yeah, I think that's okay then. So, except it's not okay, is it? Because it's got the extra these bits on, so I need to get rid of them. No. Oh, I did it again. Oh no, I didn't. No, that's fine. Right, and we need to. And we need to which one? That one. To there, to there, to there this time. And then that's already got its station. Okay, so we need to edit this blueprint, which is where, which is there. New contents, like that. So hopefully that's correct. This one we need to edit to reflect the changes we just did. And hopefully I don't go mad this time. Right, so let's pick all of this up. And we'll see if it applies properly to the actual stations that we've got down. Should be okay. I could just check. So we've got... So this is the... I suspect those substations need altering, don't they? Because this is the generic 2 stations. And it does have the logic system on it, you see, which is why I'm not too fussed about connecting the trains up. In fact, that's what I could do with these. I don't really need the logic system and the... I guess I do because I want the wires to be connected. But get rid of the signals and the station itself. Yeah, okay. So, the idea would be I plop this one down. In fact, let's turn my bots off and just do it with blueprint. So the idea is I plop that one down, and it's got the 2 loading points. I then plop this one down, which has different substations, doesn't it? Is that going to matter? Are they in the wrong place? Maybe. Wonder why those are mismatched. I'm not fussed about having more, but I'm puzzled as to why they don't match. So I then plop that one down, and then this one. Oh, of course the logic's all been flipped over because I flipped it. Nuts. Okay, in that case, I'll take all of that out. That should get rid of it. Or effectively add it back in again. So that matches fine. I say apart from... So there's some mismatches with substations, but I'm not too fussed with that. Okay, so let's edit it again. How I wish I'd got this right in the first place. Right, so we don't need the train tracks. Don't need the actual station. We don't need any signals. That's not connected though, is it? Oh, bum. I forgot to connect that up. I'll have to put it in to do that. Okay, so let's turn you lot back on. Let's connect that to there. And edit this properly now. Oops. Dear me. Right, so that's that bit. Oops. There. I say we're going to have a real. I'll sort the substations out later, but it's a bit of a mess I've created there. So we don't need the track. Oops. Dang. Didn't mean to do that. Which one is that? Let's do it again. I had a misclick then. So let's redo that. Wait for the autosave. Try it again. Get the substations, but not the belts. Right. So I don't need that. Don't need them. Don't need that. Awesome. I say I will sort out this silly substation thing in my own time when it's not a million degrees as well. Right. So hopefully that's all fine. If not, it kind of shows the principle of what I'm changing, which is that I'm flipping from my hybrid stations, which were both 242 and 484, into stations that are just straight 484. And we'll reuse the old design for the 484 stations to feed the bus. Is that everything? No, not got that as well. Saying something about this, I suspect that's a rock, isn't it? It's fine. That's a rock as well. Yeah. Right, I'm just going to whack these in a chest, I think, and blow them up. Just to sort that out. Okay, so I should really make myself a little gate as well, because that's not an ideal solution, that walking across the train track. Right, so get rid of this. All of this. I'm going to take the substations out. It's going to put a bugger's muddle in anyway, so let's just get rid of them. We don't want these because this is wrong stuff, as it were. Get rid of all of this. What are they? Who are they from? Are they from one of you? Are one of you full? One of you's full. Okay, so I'm not going to hook that up for the time being. I could add the belts on though. We've got 2 lanes there that, you know, aren't going to be doing anything now. Biddly bob. Right. Gets me a bit of room. No? There we go. Okay, so let's plop those blueprints over the top. So this would be this one. Which is mostly about connecting the wires back up. I can change this. It's not 16,000, is it? Because it's... Oh, is it? That might be right, actually. Let's have a look. What does a coal train hold? Where was the coal train? Here we go. So it's got 16,000 in it. Okay, so 16,000 is right. Do I want 5? I mean, what I'm thinking here with this coal situation is that it's basically 2 loading stations. Because this will have given it a generic name now, you see. Oh. What are you? Oh, I guess it's just picked up that name because it's auto-done it. That's fine. Right, and the other one then, the new blueprint, is this one here. And does that plop on top? It does. I say we get some weirdness with roboports and stuff, so I'll have to sort that out at some point. So when it's not 1,000,000 degrees. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm using the wrong one. There we go. Put that there. Okay. Oh, I don't think I've got a second station, have I? Let's just make one. There we go. And we can put them in there because they're extra to what I've got. Okay. So this is actually coal pickup. Coal pickup. Oops. And this is obviously coal pickup. Yeah, okay. So, oh, not enough room, I guess. It's you again. It's you again. It's always you. Right, let's get them out of the way. Right, so rather than this situation, what we can do instead, perhaps, oh, lots of Billy Bob. What I can do instead is, perhaps, is that going to be enough room? Oh, actually I could put that in there. See, I've got a real mess of stations now. Yeah, so the idea would be, or what I thought we could do instead, is basically feed in to the 2, so we can have, where's my balancer? So we've got 5 to 8, basically, is what we want. There we go. Oh, wait. Like that. So if I put that there, I can, let's put it there to give plenty of room. Oh, it's just do it by hand. Oops. So that'll be there, there. Cool. Okay, and then same one here. What's that? Oh, it's stuck on a blooming substation. Right. So let's plop that in there. I still think it overlaps with that, but it's not far off. So feed that in there. Oops. So we've got that one in the way. So if we copy and paste this, we can see what the collisions are. So that one's fine, but this one's not going to be fine. Like so. Down there, and then you're going to be that one. I don't know, that one, that one, that one. That might be in the way, but we'll have to see. Obviously, I'm adding this in. If I'm building a raw outpost like this, then the wall wouldn't be as close, but I'm not going to move the wall. Right. Excellent. So that's that. Now we will. You can see why I called this odd jobs, because it's just, it's fiddling about basically, tweaking stuff. Because essentially I got the decisions wrong before, but that's the whole point of this series. It's a learning exercise for me. I guess it's a very public way to do failure, isn't it? Right, so we've now got coal coming in here, and coal coming in here. There's fuel in all of them. What I can do is adjust the train numbers, because we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, and then 6, 7. So there's 7 potential slots. Oh no, but these are set to 5, aren't they? Oh, it's set to 5 already. Okay. Because we need one in case we've got both the artillery train and the restock train, so that cuts off them too. So then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then obviously there's 5 and 5, because these are effectively the same station. So this being set to 5 is fine. I do just want to make sure. Oh, that's set to 4. Yeah, so it needs to be 16,000. I could just copy it over, but do that. And 5,000 and 5,000? 5. Excuse me. It's not the most efficient of loading, but that's fine. I mean, we ended up. In fact, I think I already did it on these. I've ended up with so many mining prods that, you see how this is full, and it's only got like, what is that, 8 miners on it. Okay, so it appears to be bringing stuff in. So that's all good. Is the signal coming across? 19,000. Yeah. So we have 1 slot for a train. Excellent. Excellent. Right, so if I take that out, then I'll put that back in. Right, let's get the spiders over here and out of the way. I want to just check I've not got any. I bet the construction. Here we go. You see, we've got a load of rubbish in the boxes, basically. And let's just check. 169 logic bots. Okay. How's that happened? Unless it's counting them, is it? No, it can't be. Why is there 169? Ah, well, whatever. It's got some logistics bots and construction bots. That's all I'm worried about. Okay, so I just want to check through, make sure I understand what blueprints I've got with the loading and unloading, because I suspect I actually need to edit my coal one. So let's run through the procedure fully. So this is the breakout from the main base. That's my artillery station 1. I know that's fine. That is the setup for the, when I'm clearing an area. That's the one to remove all of the artillery, the lasers and all that sort of gubbins. This is my default loading thing. So it's got 2 slots, one for raw stuff and one for processed stuff. In reality, is anything going to... Well, stone. Stone would be picked up raw. So yeah, so it's worth having that. And I guess with coal and copper and stuff, I could probably convert them over. But I don't mind having iron as a raw material in case I need something spectacular with concrete. I shouldn't think I will, but you know, it's there as an option. What is wrong about this is these here. So these are wrong because they're not needed anymore. Yeah, so we can edit that out. Cool. Let's try and get everything. I say I will work out what I need to do with substations later because I think that's too much for my poor little brain today. Cool. So that's that one. The next one is really dependent on what I'm doing. So it's a loading station there, and it's a loading station there. But I need to, case by case, I edit, the train numbers and all that sort of stuff, depending on what it is. But it gives me 2 loadings. However, if the alternative is that it's actually a oil outpost, which is a different blueprint altogether, which is this one. And I already did the correction-ish for loading the oil in, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Except I've not corrected the... Hang on. Let's just... What? Oh. And them as well. There. Cool. I've not done the similar correction for these, so we don't need fuel loading in these. And the tweak to this one, obviously, originally I'd done a... is that in range again? Originally I'd done a thing where it was loading up light and heavy and all that sort of stuff, but this is just raw loading. And it gives me the option. I've made space so that I can load it on both sides, because this is not the most efficient, but I don't think it should matter. It kind of depends on performance, really. Right, so we'll try and grab everything here. You see I created the pipe. I'm going to point at the screen. I just created the pipes up the top there to allow lots of connections rather than just the one that I had before. So that's the new version of that. Cool. And then, yeah, then we get into the smelting territory. Get rid of all of this. Yeah, you're going to grab all that again, are you? Naughty bots, I don't want you grabbing that. Let's run around, make sure we've got everything that we can get. And those. Why are you not getting the pump? Why you not get pump? Right, so that's the... So then we've got the smelting side of things, and this does need fixing. I'm not going to do that today. Does it need fixing? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it needs fixing because it's got too many connections. But I'm not going to do that today, as I say. We'll leave that. Oh. Basiloth. Hey, Chris, can I ask a question? I'm new to Factorio. Yes, you certainly can ask a question if you're still there. Sorry, I was not really paying attention to chat. That's my apologies if you've gone. But yeah, go for it. More than happy to try and answer questions. Right. I need to clear out the rubbish here again. They're all very helpful, the bot, but sometimes they can be a bit of a pain in the bum. Right, so we'll call that bit done. I say I still need to do some fixes, but I'll do them off stream when it's a bit easier, a bit less hot, I think. Absolutely melting in this room. Right, so we need to head back. Just a second, hang on. I will set the course back. and then address your question. Right, just get rid of that. Oh, actually, no, I'll leave that until I'm back. Right, so we're heading back to say. So the question is, Basilov, how many blue science per second should I go for in a startup base? So, what I usually do, so my typical strategy for a startup base is basically, you've got the recipes here for each of the science packs. Okay, and what I try and do is produce one a second, basically, in a startup base. Um, I mean, yeah, basically. So what I do is I have 5 machines making red science, 6 machines making green science, 5 machines making military science, because you get 2 per craft, and then the maths like that. So with chemical science, again, you get 2 per craft, so it's 12 machines basically, and that's a startup base. So I say it's five and 6 and 5 and that sort of things to give 1 per second. Now, what you won't actually get 5 per second, because with a startup base, if in case you're not aware, just to go back to basics, you're going to be using either the grey, the assembly machine 1, and possibly the assembly machine 2, depends how far you get. But their crafting speed is less than 1, and these numbers are based on a crafting speed of 1. Crafting speed of 1 is you as a player. That's how fast you make them. So if you make a automation science pack, red science pack, you will make it in 5 seconds. However, a grey assembler only crafts at half that, so crafting speed of 0.5. So actually, it takes it 10 seconds to craft a red science. So what I generally do is either go for, as I say, 1 per second in terms of, ignoring that crafting speed, or what I more typically do, because it's grey assembly machines, is actually have double it. So you would get 1 per second by having 10 crafting machines. Does that make sense? So basically, a blue science specifically, you've got 2 per craft. Okay, so effectively, although it's a 24-second crafting time, that's going to give you 2. So another way of thinking of that is that you've got 12-second crafting time to get 1 science pack. So if you want to get 1 per second, which is, say, what I normally think about, you're either going to need 12 machines, if you ignore the crafting speed, or you're going to need 24 crafting machines. Now, I say it's kind of up to you which way you want to go and how you want to draw the line between a starter base and what I normally do, and I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go and look at some of the earlier. They're a lot smoother than these episodes, because I'm in a territory where I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm learning very much as I go along. But I've done the early part of the game loads and loads of times. And what I usually do is I usually build a starter base, and it's literally like quick and dirty. And it's sort of, I can actually show you. So let's wait to get back. But I build like lanes along the side of machines, and just make everything crafting as I need it. And so I get just a long line of assembly machines, a bit like a mall, basically. But all I'm using that for is to get to bots. Okay, and then once I've got bots, I then do this, which is a bus. It's my version of a bus. By which I mean there's loads of ways of actually doing it, but basically this is a bus of iron, copper, green circuits, steel, yeah. So all those materials. Okay, these I've edited later on. So you've got all the basic materials coming up, and then I've got my more significant science production up the side here. Okay, and this actually produces, if it's running, it's probably not running properly, but because I haven't been paying attention to it, to be honest with you. Production 10 minutes, science. So this is now at 500 per minute, the science. So this, I basically, my proper bus-based science system tends to be about 500 a minute. It depends on exactly what I've done and how I've done it, but generally speaking, that's a 500 science per minute thing, which I say to me is not a megabase, which is what I'm going for here. I'm going for actually 10 times that, 5,000 per minute. But say that's done then with the green assembly machine. Now they're quicker than personal crafting. That's like 1.25, I think. And also, as you can see, there's then there's 10 machines, so they're actually going faster, and they've also got speed beacons and prod modules on. So effectively, it gets to about 500 a minute. And I say, in theory, if I wanted to do what most people, the sort of starting line from a megabase, I could just double this and worry about feeding the production in. But say, what I tend to do is I do a really quick and dirty science base, usually with 1 per second of each science, but 1 per second ignoring the crafting speed. And that gets me to bots, and then I use that base to build a proper base with on a bus system. And I say what I'm exploring now is the transition to a really big, I say really big, a big production system, and I'm using a sort of a towns approach where I'm producing the science packs in dedicated areas, basically. Yeah, so I say what I normally do with so my sort of quick and dirty. Let's get rid of that. Quick and dirty sort of production is I would have the assemblers sort of going down the middle. Now, what I actually do, I have a thing where I tend to put the power poles in the middle, and obviously these would normally be level 1, but it provides you with full coverage. Because I hate, this thing you get where, things like that, and that's fairly neat, but they get really messy, and you're also using twice as many power poles. So I tend to do that, and what effectively there would be is lanes of. So this might be iron, that might be copper, that might be green circuits, that might be a mixed lane of pipes and cogs, and then probably steel, and then maybe red circuits eventually. And I produce them dedicated smelting area, fill the belt type of thing. But basically, then I just grab whatever I need from each of the. Say that's something that needs iron and copper, so it's grabbing that stuff in, and then I put in regular chests. Obviously, sometimes this feeds in directly, stuff like that, but that would be a chest. And you might, there might be an arrangement like this. So this is one product going in there, another product going in there. Limit that. So that's my general sort of approach to doing a quick and dirty. And I say it's just everything. So you might have electric power poles with, those there. So that's feeding in directly, and it's grabbing, copper and steel, something like that system, and it's sticking them in a chest. And then this is something else. Maybe this is, I don't know, electric mining drills, sticking them in a chest. And what I do eventually, once I've got to bots, I would then swap them out with, storage chests or passive providers or whatever, so that the bots can do a lot of the work for me. Anyway, that's a. Oh, why did you do that? That's not very convenient of you. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. It's just sort of. So that's my way to say. And if you really want to say, there is a kind of an archive of these VODs on my YouTube channel, and I say it's a lot quicker. Basically, it's the first 20 episodes, I think, and that's when I've launched a rocket. And that phase of the game I've done so many times that I'm pretty quick. I mean, I'm not the quickest player. I've never actually done the there is no spoon. Is everyone full up? And yeah, brilliant. But yeah, so I do have a sort of a way of doing things that is fairly quick. Right. I had actually, I mean, people were asking about doing blueprints in books and all that sort of stuff. And I'll be totally honest, I was never really expecting anyone to watch my streams. And then when people started doing so, I was like a little, like, I don't know about confused, but, sort of, oh, right. you know, um, I say it's been really great that people do pop in and say hello and stuff. Right, so the next bit then, now that we're all stocked up and ready to go, is up here, which is that I need to put these in here. And we're going to use the old blueprints. So these are my blueprints of this style, basically. And that'll let me transition all of these over to bringing material in here. And then I'm going to break the connection there. So we're going to have, well, we've already got several fuel train systems, but excuse me. We'll have then basically the train system for the science and the train system for the bus, basically. Appreciate you taking time to explain all that. I'll try and go for one science for a second. So, yeah, it's kind of what most people sort of do, and I say it's up to you whether you want to do that as just ignore it, based on the recipe scale or the crafting. You want to factor in the crafting speed. But I say that'll get you, chunking away. The real thing with blue, I don't know whether you've tried it before. How whether you've got your system up, is it steps up. Where is the spider? Oh, okay. It steps up. It ramps up the production to a significant degree, and it is a bit of a blocker, I think, for a lot of players. And to show you so what I do with my bus, it's best when you, and I say this is later game. I wouldn't do this in a starter base, but what I do with a bus is I have a basic principle that I come out of a bus. Let's rephrase that. So I have my production coming out from a side panel of production in the exact opposite direction to the material going in. So basically, one of the things, and why you get spaghetti in particular, not that there's anything wrong with spaghetti. I like spaghetti bases, but they can be a bit complicated to manage. But basically, if you have the materials that you need for the production, split it off from the bus or make it as you need it, and you have it coming in and the opposite direction to its going out, then you can avoid crossing over. So I say I've done this loads of times, so I sort of know the numbers. But if you pop down, say, 5 machines, and then you suddenly realise, oh, actually, I need 10, and you've crossed materials over behind it, then you get into a real mess with having to do undergrounds and splitters and all sorts of stuff. So the principle, basically, is to always go in, so that here we're going from left to right input, left to right input, left to right input, but then right to left output. So they're basically coming in and out in the opposite directions. And I say that's what I do generally with a bus. And there's obviously 2 places where you can get materials from, either stuff that's on the bus. So, for example, the sulfur is being made in my chemical area. So sulfur's being made there and bussed over. And like iron and copper and green circuits are available from the bus. So I've got these split-offs where I need that. But then there's other things that you're going to want to make locally. So, for example, the red circuits is a completely separate factory area, but engines, it's best to make them locally. So basically, I'm making them, but to make them, I need cogs and pipes. So I've got a production of cogs and pipes. So you see how it's sort of blocks of production to feed in to the one down the chain, or it's coming off of the bus basically. Are we there yet? Yeah, we can. Right, so let's go and fill the rest of this train stuff in. Because it takes experience to know what goes on the bus and what to make locally. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of arguments either way, and for me, it tends to. It's like there are some things that are definitely things you should put on the bus. So you should definitely have iron and copper on the bus because that way you can centralize your smelting, and it's just a case of making as much as you can in your smelting area and bringing them up because they're used so much by so many production areas that just having them on the bus is just a no-brainer, really. Green circuits is another brilliant one to put on. Red circuits is another one good one to put on. But you then get into debatable areas. I always put steel on my bus. I always put stone brick on my bus, but some of the raw materials are questionable. You could find local patches and just bring them over locally. I like to have them on the bus. Batteries is a good one where I make them in a centralized production area over here, but I've also got a fluid bus, so I could make the batteries very easily locally. But it's just a personal preference thing, that sort of thing. In terms of that fine detail, but as I say, certain things, you've kind of got to have on the bus, otherwise it's not really a bus. But there are other ways of doing it. I know Nilhouse does that city block system, although he also uses a bus, but he uses the city block train delivery, system. And I say, I think it's a lot of personal preference, as to which ones you want to do. It's like, I mean, cogs is a great example, or buying gear wheels is a great example of something that I think is a very, it's a good thing to put on the bus because it's like more material dense. So each iron gear wheel is 2 iron plate. So there's a very, very good argument for making gear wheels and putting them on the bus, particularly if you go to the scale of having multiple lanes of iron gear wheels, because it's like a compression thing. You've basically compressed down multiple lanes of iron plate into gear wheels. The problem with it for me, and why I never do it, is simply because the area that you need to dedicate to that is really big, because you need to basically have the iron production to support that gear wheel production. I say, if you go for something like 4 lanes of gear wheels, you need like 8 lanes of iron to support that. And so I just tend to make them locally. But say it's entirely a personal preference thing, really. Oh, we've got a nice little gap for a tree. There we go. So you'll fill all. Oh, and again. Mess this up. What's happened here? I wonder why those aren't properly ghosted in. Oh, in fact, we're missing the entire thing here because there's no power lines either. Power. There we go. So we plot that there, and that there. And that there. How is COVID doing in England, if you don't mind me asking? I don't mind you asking. Not brilliantly. I mean, it's okay in the sense that. Why is there no? So that's that. It's going okay in the sense that quite a lot of people have had vaccines. Had their vaccine jabs. Where is the? Oh, it's there. Okay. However, the infection rate is quite high. I say thankfully, because quite a few people have had jabs, people aren't getting as sick. But the infection rate is, well, I think it's the highest in the world at the moment. which, well, um, I yeah, don't want to get too into politics because it's not. I mean, it's not really what this streaming series is about. But yeah, they're about to open up the country. Basically, they're going to take all the restrictions off, um, and I think it's just a couple of months premature. Basically, I think literally a couple of months. If they really push the vaccine a bit more, because so we're not doing. I mean, as far as I understand it, we're actually one of the highest rates of vaccines in the world. Because I mean, obviously the whole, well, so not to get into the politics of it and whatever, but the whole set of lies around vaccines and all of that rubbish, that actually started in this country, embarrassingly, um, with a doctor who was basically a con man. But yeah, so not wanting to go into the politics of all of that, but I think a sort of a backlash of that, in a sense, is we've been through the mill of that, and I know a lot of countries are still, they've got a lot of problems with people. I mean, skepticism is good. I'm all for skepticism. Don't believe everything you're told. But there are some things that are proven, and you don't need to be skeptical about. Vaccines is one of those, and that's not an opinion thing. That's just true. And apologies if anyone watching this is an anti-vaxxer and that annoys you or whatever. But I say that it's a bit, to me, it's a bit like saying you don't believe in gravity. You're questioning the wrong things. And I say there are things you shouldn't believe. Um, Governments tell you that, and they're wrong, and you know, skepticism is healthy, but be skeptical about the right things. And as I say, we're sort of on a. Am I going to put one of these in, or so we're on a cusp, really, in my opinion, of a couple of extra months, and we'd be sorted, and we could properly open up, and it'd be all fine. And they're just doing it too early, and it's going to cause problems. They're going to cause another bloody lockdown. Wait, what? Gravity's not real? Yep, apparently, yeah. That Newton bloke just, complete liar. I've got the wrong set of Spidertrons. I say, I mean, if you're anti-vax, obviously, if you anyone watching either now live or whatever, I feel, I'm not. This isn't intended to convince you or whatever. You believe whatever you want, but I say, to me, there are things that are, question them, but that's just not one of them. And particularly if you just look into the guy who started all of that anti-vaccine rubbish, it was literally he was trying to do a con, as in he was trying to defraud the whole thing around these mixed vaccines, and it was an attempt by him and a lawyer to drum up a completely false case and make some money, essentially. Um, and there's all sorts of issues around the media that amplified it in a way that they shouldn't have done. The thing he wrote, the scientific paper, is a tissue of lies, and proven. This is all, you know, proven stuff. This isn't just me saying that stuff. It's as in proven in courts of law. He was a con man. He's been struck off as a doctor. Um, you're questioning the wrong thing if you don't believe in vaccines. Particularly since, I mean, a vaccine. I shouldn't be doing this. It's not meant to be about politics. This series, but vaccines are basically the most effective thing we have ever developed as a species in terms of combating disease. So you are and the reason being, it uses your own immune system. It's like the most natural thing in the world. I mean, obviously it's not, but it's using your own natural immune system. And so some of the things they say about it being, um, artificial and all that sort of stuff, it's like, No, other way round. But anyway, I say, I mean, we, in the UK, I think we've been through that loop of, people believing it, um, you know, not believing in vaccines, and then, I say, kind of realizing that actually, you know, it's the only way out of this, really. Anyway, I say apologies for that rant, but you kind of hit a. I say I try and I don't normally, it's not about politics and all that sort of stuff. I don't. I say I'm not aligned with the current government. They're not my political allegiance, but that's irrelevant to it to me. It's um, you just need to look at the numbers and a case of you know a real big push, get your vaccine, and we can be out of this in a couple of months. But that's not what they've done, and it's all a bit frustrating, really, because I'd quite like to go back to normal. But there you go. This is going to take ages for these guys to come over. So we're at the stage where the base is so big, everything takes ages. So the basic plan here is I'm going to stick one of my artillery jobs down. So we need to build it, and they've got all the lasers and stuff. And then that will clear out all this area. I did some manual clearance, so there's not too many left, but we'll get rid of them. I then need to. I mean, we're going to need one of these here anyway, because the normal train stations don't have, artillery and all that sort of stuff. I mean, we don't need it here because we've got artillery coverage up to there, so this is fine. But we're going to need one of these up here somewhere. That's why I put this line in, basically. So yeah. In fact, I could be. Shall I put it in? I can probably plop this in actually because these aren't. I mean, these aren't going to be too much of a trouble. I'm going to be doing it down the bottom. Yes, just plop them in. Sorry, you're not wrong, but this is no different than, say, flat earthers and others things groups of people believe. I expect a lot it has to do with. I don't think people tell them. Yeah, you're entirely right, Bodge Belly. It's a tricky thing. It's like, as I say, skepticism is healthy and good, and you shouldn't just believe everything. But as I say, there's certain things where it's not sensible. Oh, I've done there. And it's kind of against even the observations of your own eyes and stuff. But as you say, I think there is a sort of an element, isn't there, with it of, yeah, I'm being told things is not accepted, as it were. Just yeah, I mean, you're entirely right how you put it. You guys are running tests for us here in Holland. People think with enough vaccines, it's okay to have a high infection rate. I'm not sure about that, but I guess we'll see. It's fine. You're right. It's not. A high infection rate is not good because all a vaccine does really is it teaches your immune system what a virus is, and therefore your immune system can instantly respond once you get infected. That's really all it's doing. It doesn't actually stop you getting the disease. But what it means is your immune system instantly fights the vaccine because it just recognizes it straight away. There's no process of working out that there's a vaccine, a disease there, and it needs to manufacture the antibodies and all that sort of stuff. And I say that's why they're brilliant, because they shortcut that process. And it's that process that's the dangerous bit. It's that process of being infected and ill and having no defense against it that kills people. But what it does mean is you can get the virus. It doesn't mean you can't get the virus or the infection. It means that you're just able to fight it straight away. And that's where you get herd immunity from, in the sense that, if I get infected, I have been double jabbed, so I'm fully, vaxxed up. I get infected, but I'm well again within a week or something, and the virus is gone. Whereas if I didn't, I'd have it for 6 months or whatever, and I'd be infectious for a long period of time. So it's a sort of a fire break system is what really needs to happen. So no, it's not good to have high infection rates, um, but the whole thing's been mismanaged to the degree that COVID is now endemic. It's not a pandemic really. It's like flu and cold. It's never going away because it's not been stopped properly. But with vaccines, which is why you get a flu jab every winter, they pick the strains that they think are going to be dangerous. They give them to people who are vulnerable and elderly, and that then stops the people who are most at risk from dying. And that's the system we'll have to implement. But we're not quite there yet. That's the problem. We need more vaccination. I'm worried about new variants popping up in which our current vaccines won't be able to cover. Vaccines will become only good virus versus some strains, but if the virus develops further, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, exactly. That's that's what I'm saying basically. Um, and as I say, because it's become endemic, basically in reality, we're not we're never going to get rid of it. It's countries like, and I don't mean this in a sort of blaming way as such, but countries like Brazil that had massive infection rates and didn't do anything about it. Unless everyone properly kind of agrees, how to fight it and that it is real and vaccines work. That's the only way you can get rid of it. When they got rid of smallpox, that was a global effort to get everyone vaccinated. And you have to be working as as an entire complete system, um, with no real weak points. Otherwise, it fails. Um, but as I say, they don't seem to have really managed to do that, which is a shame. And I say variants will just keep popping up now. But yeah, I mean, I say if they're not gonna, properly do what they need to, in terms of making sure people are covered, etc., then that's just what you end up with, really. Right, so we can put this in here, put that in there. No, that's the wrong ones. No, that's fine. Okay. I need the... who's got logistics bots? There we go, you've got some logistics bots. And some spare construction bots. So I should just be able to start this up. I shouldn't have to do the whole gradual clearance and stuff like that because there's not too many biters here. I just accidentally clicked on something there. Thank you very much for the follow, Vesloth. I wish you guys all the luck next coming months. Yeah, thank you very much. I say, fingers crossed. I say I don't think our death rates and that will go bonkers again because so many people have had vaccines. But I say the problem is, the elderly, the infirm, and all that sort of stuff. Oh, and children as well. There's no children being vaccinated at all. But I say they seem absolutely determined just to plough on, really. Right. So I say if we sum up an artillery train, and that should clear everything out, and I can plop in some blueprints for what we're doing here. So we're doing iron. I think I'm not going to bother with a copper here, just because it would mean fighting around with the railway tracks, and we'll grab that copper instead. So I'm not going to bother with copper, but we'll take that iron. Shall I do oil? Because there are 2 oil things up here. No, I don't think I'm going to do oil either. So we'll do oil at the top. I will take this coal though, just to reduce everything I need to do. So we want, let's turn that off, and then where is my normal blueprint? So, if that's the loading station. It's the wrong way around, but it won't let me flip it. That's a bit annoying. So I could put one here for coal. I'll have to line up the T-junction stuff. So, yeah, if I'm not caring about the oil, it doesn't matter, does it? So if I put one there-ish for coal, and then I'll have sort of one down here for iron, I guess. No. Yeah, that'll be fine, because I need to take this out. This is just to say, it's just to clear all of this stuff. Oh, so what's the purpose of this area? So basically, I had to decide. So when I made the bus, it was literally just to get to the point where I am launching rockets. That's what I always do when I play Factorio. I launch a few rockets, maybe bump up productivity to 200% or something, and then kind of get bored and start again. So when my bus design was never intended really for like the whole scale up process. And so I had to make a decision. Do I basically rip it all apart and build some separate factories for, module production, or how do I do that? Because I've never done it before. So what I did, I ended up leaving it, and I've got all these stations around here that are picking up small amounts of, not small amounts, but 242 train loads of material for the bus. Okay. But I don't want any of these anymore because they're buzzing around on a network, right? That I want to be dedicated to the science production. Yeah. So, for example, this uranium train down here. Yeah, this is buzzing around every so often. In fact, both of them are, with a very crude timer just to get them moving back and forth. So they're driving around here, and this is right where my science is. I don't want them on there. And I've got, there was actually another junction here. So I've got loads and loads of junctions, which is really slow. Okay. So what I want to do is get all of these, because I decided I don't want to get rid of the bus. I want to keep the bus as is, unless it causes performance problems. These guys are now coming in. So look on that. Yeah. So these guys are using material that's being gathered from all over the place. Okay. So what I want to do is I want instead for all of this material to come from this dedicated line. Okay. So all of my 242 trains serving the bus will drive up and down this line. I might have to extend it, might have to do more offshoots and whatever. I shouldn't have to because it's quite a lot of material here. But what that'll do is that'll mean I can cut the line there basically. So I can make a break in the network, and then I divide it into two train sets. So we've got the trains that are doing the bus with 242, and we've got the trains that are doing the science with 484, and that clears up all of this. So I need to move all of these over to here, okay, as well. I won't do that on stream because it's just tedious moving of material. But basically, all of the trains will be feeding from material over here, essentially. So that's what I'm setting up with this, basically. But one of the things I discovered is that the biters quite like to chew on power poles when they get a chance, particularly if they're in big groups. So what I'm having to do, and I'd never anticipated this. I say that I'm doing all that because that's, I didn't know what I was doing in terms of this was not set up to do big science. Yeah. So what I should actually have done is planned it out more properly, and these should have been over here to start with, but I say I didn't know that was going to be an issue. I say I'm just sort of making up, for the mistakes is a bit of a harsh word, but you know, the things I did before. And like these, I probably shouldn't have actually put all of these in. You know, I should have been out here getting material from further distance, but I didn't know that, so I was just going. In fact, the walls weren't actually. The walls were here originally. That was the bottom wall, um, and the top wall was like up here or something. So you know, there's been a whole process of me learning basically, because I've never done this at scale. Has that out train gone? I think it's finished. And we've not got any biters in the area. I don't need this to be here because the artillery covers this section, so there won't be any biters getting in. What I need to do, I do need one of these up here, so that the train line is like protected from any spawning biters, basically. So I can pick all of this up now, and I can put these trains in properly. Now this is usually a bit of a pain in the bum because the spiders randomly pick material up. So instead, I'm going to chuck some stuff. Oh, I've just sent them over to nuts. Get right out of the way. They've started filling that in, and that's not in the right place. Right, so let's just get rid of this. Just, I don't know, get rid of a load of this stuff out of the way. And so a lot of this that I'm doing is inefficient and horrible and not very good, but it's because I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, you know, effectively this is my first, in some senses, this is my first playthrough. But it's a first playthrough in a different in a different way to how you might think about that. Why? Oh, I put construction pots in, didn't I? Right, so we got a load of artillery. That's not very useful. Where's my Spidertron? Okay, chuck you in there. And again, and that as well. Cool. If they pick that up, they're going to fly off, aren't they? Oh, they've already done it. Okay, fine. I like that they did that. That's basically when you orphan robots, they'll go to the nearest network. I like the sort of idea of that. In practice, I always mess it up and have the bots go to places that I don't really want them to. Right, so get rid of this. Go on then, off you go. And then this is the straight rail to there. So then if we have a T-junction, where's it good? That's perfect actually. So that'd be T-junction there. So this isn't exactly here, but not far off. So T-junction there. And loading station there. That's good. Doesn't overlap the thing. Oh, you're all out of juice. Okay. No, you're just not bothering. Oh, they're not any rail, have they? Bring you lot back. So if I then think, because the first place we can have another T-junction is right next to it, like that. Is that going to line up here? So put that like that. So it'd be there. That's going to overlap with the thing, isn't it? So instead of there, if we put it, well, let's do one of them so I know roughly where it is. And then T-junction there. Okay, then a bit of straight rail. I got 2 bits of straight rail because when I'm out in the wilderness, I discovered that they tend to like to chew on the power lines if they arrive in big groups and get stuck. So the idea is that if they say chew on that power line, these are sufficiently close that they will keep connected. Because I'm quite reliant on lasers. I've got, there are some oil and stuff like that, but so I'm quite reliant on lasers. So when they break through a power line, it takes the whole system down, or the outpost down, which is not ideal. I'm going to need one more bit of straight rail, aren't I think? Up to about there. And then that's the load. That's too high up, so let's put it there. Would that work? Might be easiest actually if I did put it there. Okay. So let's undo that. I'll put that there. Send you lot over there to fill that in. We can... I'm a bit rubbish. One of the big discoveries for me, and I kind of knew it already, but the sort of big discovery really for me for this series was if I ever kind of intend to do this again, I need to make some standardized blueprints because I tend to just design everything each time. That's about right. There. Because the thing I enjoy most about the game is designing stuff, and that's why this blueprint book has just millions of blueprints in it, because I've just stuck everything in the one blueprint book. So if we... Where's that gone? No. Where's the miners? I kind of know roughly what order it's in. No. He says shooting past where he's meant to be. So I know broadly where I'm going with it, but it's not very efficient. I should have multiple blueprints, really. Multiple blueprint books, rather. So we put that, say, there. And that one there. Just get rid of that. Okay, so that gives me a whole bunch of coal lines. Have you filled out all of this-ish? Send you up there. And then same here, I guess. So we want... if I do it that way around, how many is it? 1, 2, 3, maybe 4? So that'll be sort of effective. Well, I'll say 1, 2, 3. So that's 2, 4, 6, maybe 8. Okay, let's give that a go. So maybe if I put that, say, let's line them up. So it's there-ish. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that'll do. And then just line the power poles up. There. 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 Cool. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's get everyone back here. And then I'll run round and see what I can fill in. Jump on there. I'm just going to set these up roughly. I'm not going to do the full tidying up of belts and all that sort of stuff. We'll just get them basically placed down. Sort of I'm ready to rumble. How many have I ended up with that? 1, 2, Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So they're sufficiently high enough, whatchamacallit, mining productivity that actually, because I built them 14 with speeds, fills a belt, blue belt, when you're on, like, I think it's up to about 150 mining prod. Oh, these are got. This is all very quaint, isn't it? Got blooming turrets in these. Not touched these in ages. But yeah, it now massively oversaturates. But in fact, I kind of ended up stopping mining productivity because it's kind of reaching the stage where actually we'd probably be better doing bot-based mining. How about if because these are the two longest ones, so I could flip them round basically, and that'll give us 8 lanes. So I'm not going to do the full tidy up, but I'll sort these, get these down basically. So I'll turn that one round, and that one there. We can take those round. They'll fit down there? Yeah, they'll fit down there. Like this. Oops, no, missed. Like that. I never actually asked you about that. So, are you relatively new to the game? Are you, just because you're asking about the blue science, is that your first time doing it, or have you sort of? I know a lot of people, and I did initially as well. I know that people sort of start again quite a few times while they get their head around the the mechanics of the game and stuff. Down there. It's your second run. Okay, cool. Did you get rocket launch before, or did you manage? Just I say, and there's no. I don't mean this in any kind of shamey way. When I first played the game, my first ever play of the game, right? I didn't really even know there was such a thing as biters, and they turned up and just killed me. I was like, what the heck is going on here? I'd obviously, I knew there was a pistol, so I knew there must be some kind of combat. But I didn't know they came and attacked you for the pollution. And I say they just obliterated me, and I was like, oh. I just completely started again. And then I think it was only about, it must have been like my sixth go through or something that I finally said, right, well, I'm going to stop messing about trying to be perfect, and I'll just focus on getting a rocket launch no matter what. And I say eventually sort of did it that way. I got solo, but then I quit. Yeah, it was all spaghetti. Yeah, so that's kind of. I mean, say when you see spaghetti, I mean, obviously they're promo. A lot of the promo images they do are spaghetti. It looks great, but it's like unless you come up with some system, and there are a few different ways. You don't have to do bus and stuff, but unless you come up with some way of doing it, either modular or factory towns, or there's all sorts of ways of doing it. But spaghetti is very difficult for anything other than just a straight let's try and launch a rocket. There's no room for extending things unless I build everything from the ground up again. Yeah, exactly. That's the situation you always get into with spaghetti, in that you can get it to do a rocket through sheer brute force, but as you say, unless you then completely tear the whole thing down, you're not doing anything else. Which is that's a viable way of doing things. Actually, you can just brute force your way to a rocket, and then you've unlocked everything, and you just go to another part of the map and start again, basically. It's not uh, it's not massively efficient, but who cares, sort of thing. So a few of these, or quite a few of these, are missing speed beacons, aren't they? Because there's none. Speed modules, rather. So that's the coal coming in for that one. So if I rename this. Oh, of course, this hasn't got any other logic on it either. Blimey. Where the heck are they? They're in here somewhere as well. Here we go. So which is that one? It's my set reset. So this is the... Yeah, that's my counter for getting the trains in, I think. Oh, why have I got two of them? Huh. Oh, I got rid of the nuts. Okay. Let's do that by hand then. Right, so... Oh, I bet that's in the chest, isn't it? Let's go and put the other one on. Just going to sort that one out before I fiddle about the logic stuff. Right now I'm making things more spread, and I went with the train settings, so mineral patches are further apart. Yeah, that's something I regret for this playthrough. I wish I'd done a train base. What's it called? Train world, because there's too many patches too close together. In a sense, I'd rather have fewer fewer patches and bigger patches. But say I wanted to do completely default, because the other problem with it, I mean, the other thing that's wrong, or I would do differently, is water. There's far too much water on this map. Right now I'm making 9 engines units per second, which is way too much for blue science. 1 every 12 seconds, yeah. I mean, there's nothing... Yeah, I mean, there's nothing sort of wrong with overproduction, I would say. Particularly, I mean, with how optimized the game is, unless you're running, a particularly poor, low spec machine or something like that, overproduction isn't. I don't think it's ever a problem. And you can always. I mean, you're going to need to do robots, or I assume you want to do robots, and you need engines for the. Well, you need engines for electric engines, which are then used in the robot frames. So, you might be best off actually either sticking them in a chest or, diverting them somewhere else rather than, pulling up the production. Because you need, well, I don't tend to use bots in their most efficient way, but, well, I wonder if I can show you. So I've got, in this main base, I've got over 4,500 logistic and nearly 4,500 construction bots. So each one of those has got, an electric engine in it, basically. Well, a robot frame. So say you might be best off just sticking them in a chest, or having them available for when you want to do that. Right, so we'll pull up these because we don't need defences there really. Oh, don't need that either, really. I will plop down, if I've got it still, which is that's the set reset, so that must be, that's my train counter. I wonder what it's renaming it. Okay, it's just load, okay. Right, so let's get this slot filled out again. But say, I mean, fundamentally, I know, how can I put this? A lot of people really like, Neil House and the way he plays, and me too. I like watching his streams as well. But he kind of advocates. It's very focused on efficiency, which is great. No problem with that. But it's not the be all and end all. Just have fun. That's my philosophy. Um, so yeah, don't worry about overproducing and stuff. It's just nature of the beast, really. My last playthrough, I went with a full RoboPort coverage, the orange area, but that's a bit overboard. Doesn't have much room for bigger bases. It's a law of diminishing returns, really, with robo coverage. This is fully covered, the bus, but that makes it look like the networks are bigger than they are. Because what this actually is a whole set of smaller networks. So this network here, these are over here because this is how I'm doing my solar panels. They're basically being made on the bus, and then these RoboPorts are really for the bots to recharge when they're doing the solar panels. But you've got a network here, which is really there's nothing. This is here so that I can recycle stuff basically. So sulfur that gets into the system, I pull back into over here. But really, then this is a robo network covering the bus. And as I say, what I tend to do, although because I love belts, that's how I like to build. But I tend to stick stuff in chests, and then it's available for personal use. And there's some things that it's easier just to bot round. But yeah, so that's one network there. This then is a network here. This is actually there's a bridge between two networks here. So this network is covering the trains in order to refuel them, but also to provide the fuel for the nuclear power plants, but without actually. So there's only like 100 bots, I think, in this network, because you don't actually need as much nuclear fuel as you might think with trains. But you say this is sort of refueling a lot of the trains. This then is a gigantic network, but really a lot of it's redundant because it's a massive solar field. In fact, actually, I could plop some in. We might as well. Just show you. I need to cover this entire area because I need about 12 gigawatts of power, I think, for the eventual Megabase. Once it's all done and beaconed and moduled and all that sort of stuff. So all I'm doing with these, I'm plopping in more and more solar panels. And I say this is the type of learning that I've had, in that what I would actually do next time is have a proper solar field factory, because there are a couple of incidents during the playthrough where I completely ran out of power, basically. It's why there's so many nuclear things, because I got a bit paranoid that I was going to run out of power again. And say all I'm doing, I'm slapping these down. And because the bots have so far to travel, they need RoboPorts to charge. This is also where the landfill stuff's being done. Because as I say, I have far too much. In fact, they've got loads of landfill left. Why have they not done that? But I'm, sending these Spidertrons round, filling out a lot of stuff that I don't need. You don't actually need that much water. And then what else have we got network-wise? These are just MIDI networks to refuel these trains. So they'll be gone. I need to set up some kind of refueling here. But yeah, so the best thing with bots really is to limit the distance they travel, and have them dedicated to a particular task where you're doing it. Oh yeah, of course there's the walls, and each of these are individual segmented networks, and they'll obviously repair the walls and restock the ammo and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like I've got a massive network, but I haven't. I've actually got a whole set of smaller networks, really. How are we doing? So we're nearly done. Let's Scarlet's Mars, why don't you scrap to grid your solar? Makes placing it down so much easier. Yeah, I should do. I'm just too lazy. I can't. I really struggle with how they've done the snap to grid because it doesn't. This is a weird thing to say, but it's not how I would do it. And when I'm doing the snap to grid, I have a couple that are snap to grid, but when I'm using it, um, it doesn't make sense to me. So I tend to struggle a bit with putting it down. It becomes a bit of a trial and error process of adjusting the size and the center of the grid point. Um, you're right. I should. I mean, I should have done that ages ago, but I'm just a bit lazy and stubborn. Is the reality of it. Um, Also, I mean, it's nearly finished now, so that's my excuse. Right, so we need to pick all of that up. Am I happy with that? Get rid of all of that rubbish. We've got one for iron ore. We've got one for coal. So we need to go up and put in oil, one of those two. Copper there. Turn that into steel. And then we've got stone there as well. Okay, what's the time? 5:20. Okay. Right. Where did they go? Is that all filled in? Could do with another radar there, couldn't it? Actually. Just make sure it's in coverage. Okay. So you lot should have slots for ammo. That's fine. What have you got? You've got more walls. Walls, ammo. Walls, ammo. Ah. Somebody else got walls? Yeah, you've got walls. Oh, it was lasers, wasn't it? That was the other thing that got used a lot of. Just stick them in. Cool. I'll put that in the chest and blow it up. Can I pick everything up? No, I can't. Because we've got too many of them. Cool. Okay, so let's head up. To the top here. Just use relative then. Oh, you mean for the snapping thing? Yeah. I say I sort of. You're kind of my my conscience Skyline to Mars in the sense that you tend to pick up on all the things I'm just a bit too lazy about, and a bad boy over. I mean, you're absolutely right, but as I say, I sort of I'm hoping no one's noticing, but you're noticing. I don't mean that's a criticism. It just amuses me that you tend to pop up and tell me the things that I know I should be doing, but I'm not. So no, absolutely no offense intended by that. It's just you're usually spot on. Right. So if we pop in, yeah, I know. Say it's more the thing. Say I can't usually get my head around it. So, because there's that thing where you drag it. Let's see if I can do it. Also, there's this problem that I've got a million blueprints. So snap to grid, you see. It should probably should that work now? It should, but will it work here? There you go, you see, because it's misaligned with whatever grid that's snapped to. And it's sorting that out that does my heading. But you say there's a relative. What is it relative to the? I was in this. I didn't even know there was that button. So does that then align it to wherever you place it? And what if I drag it now? It'll big rots in the way. Million. Oh, okay. No, you see, it's not done it. You see, because I want it to overlap, and it's I say, so it's not. It's not 2 clicks. It's however many clicks it needs to be. Because what would I need to? Would this need to be 42 to take the robo ports outside? Not robo ports. The things. Let's give that a go then. So if I plop that down now. Ah, there we go. Perfect. So I didn't even know there was that relative option. There you go. You learn everything, something new every day. Because that's what I was having a problem with when I was doing it with the pipes, because I couldn't get it to match up. So I guess it must have been on absolute, which then fixed it to some arbitrary grid, maybe. Okay, cool. That's even more useful. I say you learn something new every day. Placing Windows was so much easier and faster. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of. It's been expanded up in very, very simple things because I've kind of done it trying to work out how much I need. And I say it's eventually ended up this big because obviously, I mean, it started off, it was only that bit, I think, wasn't it? Or that, in fact, that was what I was thinking would be the entire solar field. That was so wrong. Anyway, let's get this down. So we do want an artillery thing, but I need to be careful where I place it so that it overlaps with this. In fact, this is going to be too far up. I think it's probably going to need to be here. Let's go and see. I haven't got any legs on. Oops. So let's plop down an artillery piece. What would it look like if it was here-ish? Oh, that will work. But I think it really needs to be on the other side, doesn't it? I think. So if we put this. Oh dear, I've got to find the T-junction again now. There we go. Let's plop it there. Let's see what that looks like. Solar is too big in vanilla. My solar fields end up at the size of the rest of my base. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. I never really, I say, having never done this scale of building, I mean as you can see, that's bigger than my base. Obviously, my base is all spread out and stuff, but that is bigger than it is, and it's going to end up basically probably filling all of this. Because I need somewhere 12 to 15 gigawatts, and I say I have it. I say that's one of my learnings as well is I would build a dedicated solar factory because making it on the bus like this is just not efficient at this scale. And I'm having my bots fly all the way over here and back, which is just horribly inefficient. And this should be maybe in the center somewhere, but I had no idea how big it was going to be. So yeah, it's not. There should be like a solar. Oops, excuse me. There should be like a solar Mark II or something, or like a solar collector. Like like one of these mirrored solar collector things, and they could have a different thing, and maybe hook it up to water or something like that, so it's not too cheaty, but it could be way more powerful. I guess really their answer to that is the nuclear stuff. But the problem with that, of course, is that it relies on the fluid mechanics, and that's horrible. Oh, there's some biters over there. Where the heck did you lot come from? Basloth, I suppose they expect you to go nuclear, but on Megabase, each FPS compared to solar. Yeah, as I say, it's sort of all done. Cool. It's I say, I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, if I'm expecting to take the nuclear out eventually when everything's up and running, but obviously these are about as short as you can get in terms of. I mean, not quite, but it's sort of near enough. It could be direct insertion, but it's not far off. But in order to do that, I've had to landfill a lake, so that doesn't sound like a very sensible solution. It also sucks for nighttime. You only have like 67% maximum production available. Yeah, I say I'm sort of kind of expecting that I will have way more solar than I actually need, because it's like the average you have to work on. I can't remember what the numbers are. It's like 42 kilowatts rather than 60 kilowatts or something. I can't remember. It's not very efficient, really. Of course, it's completely UPS. Well, it treats one solar panel as the same it does a million solar panels. So yeah, we'll have to see. In fact, I could show you that power actually. So this is both the nuclear, because we're in the daytime. This is both the nuclear and the solar, because that's the available. But this is what the solar is actually able to do. So it's quite a way off what I need. But yeah. Right. Is that all plopped down? Are we happy with that? So let's just check the coverage. So yeah, we got that there. I'll probably end up putting some kind of wall across here, obviously, to protect these guys. Maybe putting something across there and there, maybe. But yeah, I need to defend them. But hopefully the artillery will keep it free for now. So if we bring an artillery train in, let's get you lot out of the way because I don't want you blowing everything up with explosive rockets. We'll hop out. Oh, actually, let's grab ammo. I appear to have a load of wood. Has everybody got wood? You've got a bit. And you've got a bit. No, you've got some walls for some reason. Ammo. Already got the bolts, didn't I? Yeah. Oh, that's where all them things went. Do I need more? I don't really need more ammo, but let's just grab that anyway. And cool. Blow that up. Okay, so stick this ammo in and the bots, and I'll top all of that up. And like that. And you lot in there. Cool. And then we can summon up an artillery train, which is this one. Cool. Is that not turned on? Yeah. Usually it enables it straight away because the initial set condition on the circuits is 1 effectively. So if I just chop out, let's make that 108, and that should turn it on. Yeah. I'll just tweak it again. Back up. It's like 30 minutes now. Oh, crikey. I don't have a million yet, only 500,000. There are mods that make upgraded solar panels, makes the solar panels produce more power. That way you don't as many. Yeah, so, I mean, I would probably do mods if I'm honest. Not, I mean, I'd probably stick the material in a chest and blow it up or something to sort of assuage my conscience, but um, depending on what the recipes are. But it's more the tedious process of laying it all down. I say thanks for that. Telling me about the absolute thing. I didn't know that existed at all. But the tedious process of laying it down is just busy work, really. Um, I tried to save vanilla for my next playthrough. I think I'm going to add something to like Factorio Extended Plus. Yeah, so say, do you have this many spiders run so you can build faster, or what's its purpose? No collision edge. It's very nice. So the reason for the Spidertrons is I have sort of 3 sets of Spidertrons, basically. We've got these green lads here, and they are landfill, essentially. And I set them up really because there's so much landfilling it turns out that I need to do that doing it myself was impractical, and doing it with roboports was impractical. So I got them to do that. The 2 other groups of Spidertrons, go down there, are these ones that I usually bind to the red one. And these are military Spidertrons. Basically, when I was doing the walls, I needed, because I think I've said before that I enjoy designing stuff, and one of the things I enjoy designing the most is the walls. Although these turned out to be not as good as they needed to be, but I really enjoyed designing the walls and the gates and that sort of stuff. But as you can see, there's loads and loads of concrete, obviously a lot of wall, and gun turrets and all that sort of stuff. So those Spidertrons are specifically set up with the material that I need to build the walls. Now, as it happens, that also then supports the outposts, because the outposts are, surrounded by walls, and using artillery to clear them, and all that sort of stuff. So you've got the more sort of boring walls here. So they're still useful for that. But I also use them to clear out the nests, because artillery is brilliant. Love artillery. But what tends to happen, in fact, artillery's just arrived, is it? What tends to happen is that it absolutely spams out the artillery shells and causes a massive surge attack all at the same time. And I say this is only clearing out small areas, but as you can imagine, I don't know if you've ever been out into the far reaches of the map, but when you get quite a long way out, you get very, very big and very dense. And this isn't that far out, nests. And if you can imagine an artillery train turns up here and fires, well, each artillery wagon, and I never knew this, holds 100 shells. And my wagons have got like 5 artillery pieces on them, so that's 500 shells. And so it spams out 500 shells basically straight off, and creates massive attack waves, which is fine, but it's very difficult to cope with that response, because obviously the biters respond to those attacks by sending a load of biters your way, and they all arrive at the same time. And some of the other guys will attest to, I had all sorts of problems where they were just wiping out my outposts, and I was blowing up my own walls and all sorts of silly stuff. And basically, rather than do that, it's just easier to have some Spidertrons that you can drive around and wipe out the nests manually. It's really tedious, but it's just easier than losing entire outposts to spiders, to biters. So here we go. So we've got some small attack waves coming in, like this. So the idea is that this is a mixed group. The stuff they carry is to make walls and defensive outposts, but they're armed with like explosive rockets and stuff to just clear out biters. This group is the builder group, basically. So this is a mixed group where, for example, that one has got all beacons and modules and all that sort of stuff. Pinky has got furnaces and miners and belts and all that sort of stuff. What else? The blue one has got like labs in it and chemical plants. So when I'm building, I've got a load of stuff close to hand. Is basically the idea. Um, and I just wanted to do that because I quite like Spidertron. I never, when they introduced Spidertron. Oh, here we go. So we just lost something there. There you go. So they've eaten a power pole, and I've got redundancy, so it's covered it. But basically, when they introduced Spidertron, I never thought it was going to be any kind of a thing that I would enjoy, and then I really liked it because I was never, the whole meme about, where's Spidertron? I didn't really care. And then when they introduced it, I thought it was really cool. The further you get out, the more red the map becomes, says Night Raven, even if the enemies are on the lowest setting. Yeah, so it's basically that thing that it's because of the nature of how they've done all of the resource allocation, because it effectively treats biters as resources. So in the same way that the patches, as you get further out, so these patches out here, where's the really big one that I've got? So you got 50 million copper, you know, 22 million stone, 87 million iron ore with another 51 next to it. So the patches get really dense. And they apply the same logic to the biters. So basically, these become the density and concentration. It ramps up the further you get from the start point. So that's why the bases get bigger, because it's just an algorithm doing its job. And if you do go really far out, all the way out here, almost to the edge of the map, it's just solid. It's just solid red because the algorithm is such that it's maxed out basically. How am I able to color the Spidertrons? Yeah, so basically, let's bring over my favorite one. So basically, you can rename. So if you click on the entity, the vehicle, for any of them, it gives you the option to both change the name and also if you've got a color picker there. Now I could do it for my character actually, but I never usually bother. So I could color him in whatever I wanted to. But you can do that for all of your vehicles. You can do it for trains and stations. A lot of people like to do that. I don't generally bother because I'm, as I've said, rather lazy. But yeah, you can change the names and the colours, and then to bind them. I didn't know this for ages, but if you just hover over, so basically, when you build a new one, then shift right click clears it. Yeah, left click. Where is it? Shift left. No, where is it? You just click on the Spidertron, don't you? Basically, that's ages since I did it. Let's have a look. So, if I just do that, no, that sends him. No, it's shift left click to clear, isn't it? No, shift right click. There you go. So that's the default one. And then if I just click on a new one, then it assigns it to that one. The bit I didn't know is that, so I've got these three are following that one, and all you do to do that is you hold hold control and left click, and then it follows whatever you've assigned it to. I say I didn't know that. That was there's a Nilhouse video that did that. It does say it in the tooltip, but I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't read the tooltip. I think they actually added it afterwards. I don't think it initially did that, but so I didn't know it. That's how you did that. Right. So how are we doing on time? So it's 5:43. Okay. I need to set the other one, don't I? Oh, bum. Robots are all very well, but they're far too helpful. I don't want you clearing out the wood and whatever. Oh, we got 1 million shells now. Oh, that's fine. We'll put a few in here, just so that. In fact, don't I have one for fuel? No, I've got one for ammo. Just get rid of some of these, basically. And then... No, I'll leave the construction and that. And then we can put more of them in there. Yep, okay. So I just need to set this to 1 as well. There we go. So that should be... Yeah, it's not requesting anything because everything's full. Cool. Do I have... Yeah, I've got some robots here. Okay. Okay, so that should keep us clear of biters for the track. What I need to do now is head up. Never change the train or station. I used to do it. I used to change the stations and the things and you know, it's sort of, it can be useful, it can be helpful, but it just doesn't actually serve much of a purpose to me now. I like to change, like for example, my personal train, and you know, number 5 is my personal Spidertron, as it were. So I do like to change that, and as you see, I have changed a couple of them. That was more so I could distinguish between the artillery ones if I was just quickly looking. But no, I mean, you know, you can change. Obviously, you can change things to match the patches that it's doing and stuff like that. But I don't tend to find it all that useful because basically, you know, once you've set the, particularly with them introducing all the train management stuff, you can just find the trains that you want rather than having to look at, you know, the color and stuff. You know, so especially with Alton, you don't. I don't find I need to change it to the blue color to tell me it's an iron ore train. It tells me it's an iron ore train. You know, so but it's personal preference, obviously. Right, so I guess we need to work out where we're going to put this steel production. And I wasn't going to do the coal here. So we can put it here potentially. Let's put in... Yeah. So, okay. Let's find the station. Oh dear. So that's load. No, that's oil load. That's load there. Okay. So if this was, for example, here-ish, and then this was here. So this is stone. So my thinking is we'll have a smelting area here, and we'll load these 2 stone into here. And if I ever need more, I won't, but if I ever need more iron ore, I can just belt that over. Okay. Trouble with that is I need to do a bit of landfilling or go around the corner. Oh, that's fine. We'd always bring the other ones up. It's almost time anyway. Oh, crikey. Yeah, I tried to send color set to 100, 0, 200. That way I can tell where I am when I leave the map. Yeah, so it's useful for your personal thing. But since Spidertron, again, I don't tend to use my personal train very much. I tend to use it when I'm like clearing out. So when I was setting up, you know, these walls, they ended up with a load of, well, there's still wood in there, but a load of rubbish in these chests, and I just use it to go around and grab all that rubbish, basically. And I don't think I've used it since, particularly. So those set to take shells out to the arty cars and put them into boxes for your stationary artillery. As you go out where it's super dense, how much actually gets cleared out with 500 shells? So, yes. So basically, what I've done, this outpost here, this is like overkill in terms of normal usage, but it's designed that it's fire and forget, basically. So, what I've done is there's two stations. One station here is for the artillery train, and the other station is for the sort of general outpost materials. This isn't a very good example because of the trees. This is better. So basically, what I do, both stations are set to 0. This has a set reset latch with a timer, which is set to 30 minutes. So the artillery train is only going to come out. I need more artillery trains. I hadn't anticipated having as many of these, but it is what it is. But the artillery train turns up here every 30 minutes. By default, it's set to 0, so it won't come. And then you've also got the outpost general material train. Okay, and this is a more complex version of the outpost one, in that if any of these run low, that then activates the station. But again, to start with, it's set to 0. And what I do is I call up the artillery train, and it turns up, and it's got 500 shells, obviously itself, and it unloads a whole load of stuff here. So in combination, there's 7 artillery pieces firing away all at once. When it comes, and I say I turn it on, when it comes, I then turn it off again. Basically, when the train arrives, I set it to manual so that I don't have any problems of it crashing into the biters. The notion that even a behemoth biter doesn't get obliterated by a train is fanciful to me. It's just bonkers. But basically, if a train hits a behemoth biter, it stops and doesn't kill the biter. Well, unless it's going at a million miles an hour with loads of momentum, and it's a massive, massive, massive train. So I was having all sorts of problems. They would crash into a single biter, stop, and it instantly resets their automated condition, and they just sit there and get eaten. It's like really annoying. But anyway, I then set it to manual, and it just spams out shells. Now, in terms of what it actually covers, basically, so if I put that thing on, because a lot of them, because there's too much water on this map, but something like this, it would basically clear out about 80% of everything out there, and they'll rush in, and there's enough lasers here to take them out, particularly if I put it in a forest. And once they're all gone, and I just leave it to do it. I don't have to do anything. But once they're gone, I then turn this back on, and turn that on, and in sequence they'll come and refill and stuff. And basically, that will leave enough ammo in there that they will keep the area clear. But yeah, it's about sort of, in terms of where's a sort of a patch of density. So yeah, if I put one there, for example, it would basically clear out. You have to remember, I've done several range extensions, but it would clear out basically about 80% of what's in there, and that then, as I say, spawns a massive wave of attacks. And then what happens basically is, because the outpost train turns up a lot more frequently than the artillery train, all that it's doing is firing off about 10 shells, which generates a small attack. And slowly over time, that field takes out what's there. And so the next time the artillery train comes, it's just restocking, basically. And that's all it does, basically, then. I obviously don't know, out here, out here or whatever, I don't know what sort of proportion it would clear. But I say in this sort of density, it's most of it. Whenever I join a multiplayer game and set up the trains, they can always tell I did the trains because I made the train the same colour as my character. Okay. I guess it's good to know, for people to know which ones are yours. Where were we? We're actually running up to time. I'm going going to have to stop. I am so hot in this room. It's unbelievable. I need to go and cool off. Right, so I'll hook up these trains. Where are we? Where's a straight rail? It's like you were saying. I mean, Sky to us, my atrocious laziness. I should break this up into a set of blueprint books because it's taking me ages to find anything now. But as I say, I'm just so lazy. So that's going to be there-ish somewhere, isn't it? So if this was, in fact, actually turn that off. So if this was the, where's the? No, there you go. So if that, we imagine, was a straight rail, how does that line up? So if that's there, like that. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. Okay. Get rid of that. So if this then load, that's there. I need to landfill it, really, don't I? That's a bit annoying. Scottish Mars, because of on Marty train, I feel like it used between 2 to 3 engines to clear an area. I think I had more range upgrades than you. Didn't have a big bertha. I had about a medium bertha. Yeah, I mean, I know people do the really big artillery clearance ones, don't they? Where it's like they use the whole, you know. I hate this bloody train ghosting. They use that thing where they curve it back on itself, and they do a circle then with 2 lanes. I've done that atrociously, but they loop it back on itself so it's all in one thing. I was initially going to do that, but I realised that I would need one of those gigantic, multi train things. So it's all sort of learnings for me. I didn't. I thought 5. When I learnt there were 100 shells in each carriage, I thought 5 would be fine. But it doesn't quite clear the area. But then, as I say, I'm sort of glad about that because. So if that was that there, if that was straight next to it, could that fit? Because if it clears an entire area, it can't quite cope with it. So it's better if it clears, that amount of trains. That amount of biters, and then it can cope with it. And I say I can just leave it to do it basically. Because I'd probably have to add like. Oh, it's too close. Okay. Right. So that's no good. So I need to undo that. No. There you go. So this one's too close. So basically, I'm going to have to stop, basically, because I'm far too hot. And also, I have other things I'm afraid I need to do. But what I'll do... I think you get the idea with this. You get the idea of what I'm going in. Spiraling and out, that's what I did. Yeah, I say that's what I'd initially thought I was going to do, but my trains just aren't big enough, basically. 40 logos, 100 artillery wagons. Outpost also has flame turrets and lasers. Could hold off everything. Yeah, I mean, these basically can. I've not had any trouble since. Obviously, I think you were watching my initial issues with setting it all up, but these work for any size of thing. With the mega station with the thing. As you say, it does take a couple of train loads to do it, but I'm not really anticipating going out a lot further than this, and I found it was okay with these to clear this sort of density. But yeah, I say I'm going to have to end there. It's 6 o'clock, and I am rapidly losing the plot, if I'm honest. It's just so hot in here. Obviously, I'll pick up next week. What I'll probably do during the week, I think, is kind of just finish this off and then show you what I've done. Maybe I'm not sure if I'll be playing this week because it's meant to be hot in the UK all week, and I say it just gets so ridiculously hot in this room in the evenings. So if I don't do that, that's where we'll pick up. Because I say the next thing I need to do is kind of clear all of these out of the way, and it's busy work, but I got to do it because I shouldn't have put them there really in hindsight. But you know, it is what it is. And then we'll have the space, hopefully, to build the other builds, and I'll have designed them by then. Yeah, so I guess I should do my outros and self promo type stuff. Basically, I'm Trismegistus, in case you didn't know. I stream the weekends at 3 p.m. British Summer Time. So I stream Friday, Satisfactory for a couple of hours, just a bit of fun after work. I'm doing quite well with that, actually. I've got a lot further, a lot quicker than I thought I would, actually. We're doing all the plastic researches, and I've unlocked the Explorer vehicle and all that sort of stuff. So that's going quite well. I then play this series where I'm attempting to build a Megabase, having never done that before, aiming for 5,000. But if I get sort of 4,000 or so, then that's per minute, obviously. Then I'll be happy with that. For the summer, the streams are going to be 3 hours each because I've got all sorts of other things I need to do. I've actually been really enjoying the 3 hour streams, so it may end up that that's what I do generally. But yeah, I don't think we'll be. I mean, I'm hoping to finish this by the autumn, basically. So over the summer, I stream both Saturday and Sunday for 3 hours, starting again at 3 p.m. BST. And that's all of that stuff. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Trismegistus as well, but it's alias to Triggles. So you can find me on YouTube by either Triggles or Trismegistus. And I archive the VODs, as I think every streamer does, but you can find all the archive of the VODs on my YouTube channel. I upload them, make them live on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Factorio and Friday for Satisfactory. They are unedited, so you can sort of pick through whatever you want on there. But there is the entire series in a playlist for both of them. It's my plan at some point, particularly once blueprints are introduced, to also stream Dyson Sphere Program. It's a game I really enjoy, another building game, and I say once it's got blueprints, I think it's going to be quite a fun game because that'll get rid of a lot of the tedium. So yeah, for everyone who's been watching along, thanks for joining me, and I hope we'll catch you in another one, and you chat along or just watch. I'm very much happy with either. But yeah, hopefully that's been interesting, entertaining, and I will catch you in another one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.